Hey everybody. So now that you know how to add vectors, it's time to learn how to multiply vectors. So there are two ways to do it. This way, the dot product, and then in another video, cross product. So the dot product gives you a scalar. So basically you have a vector times another vector, and the answer is a scalar. So that's why it's a scalar product, because vector times vector gives you a scalar. And the symbol we use for this scalar product is this dot. So that's why we say dot product. Right? Dot is one syllable instead of scalar is two syllables. Okay, so by definition, if you already know, for example, the magnitude of both vectors and the angle between them, then by definition, the dot product goes like this. A dot B. You take this magnitude times this magnitude times cosine of the angle between them. Technically the smaller angle between them, because this is also an angle, but take the smaller angle between the two vectors. Okay, so that's if you know the magnitudes and the angle between them. If you know the vectors in terms of its components, then here's another way to define the dot product. You go this x component times this x component plus the y component times the y component plus the z component times the z component, and then that's it. You have a scalar. So which of these you use just depends on what is known and what is unknown. Okay, so for example, okay, here I have four different vectors. So vectors A and B, I know the magnitudes, and then if I just look at the picture, I can get the angle between them. Vectors C and D, I am given the components. So let's just try it out. Let's say you want A dot B. Okay, since I already know both magnitudes, it's this cosine of the angle between them. Right, so the magnitude of A, 5, magnitude of B, 4, cosine of, this is 30, this is 50, so the angle between them, 20 degrees. And then that's it. I mean, you could, if you want, use this definition. Right, so for example, what is AX? 5 cosine 30. What is BX? 4 cosine 50. Right, plus, what is AY? 5 sine 30. What is BY? 4 sine 50. And then AZ and BZ are both 0. This is two-dimensional. Right, so either of these ways, I mean, for me, I feel like this way was simpler, so either way is correct. Let's say you wanted to go C dot D. Right, so you could go this way, right, in which case Cx is 2, dx is 5, plus Cy 4, dy negative 3, and that's just 0, right? So that's one way. Or if you wanted to, totally correct, you can go this way. This magnitude, cosine of the angle between them. What is that? That's, I'll just write over here, right? The magnitude is 2 squared plus 4 squared square root. How about D? 5 squared and 3 squared square root. Okay, that's no problem, right? The angle between them. So C is 2, 4. So 2, so kind of like this. and then D is 5, -3, so more like this. So this angle here, I'll call it theta C, would be arctangent of 4/2. That's not so bad, right? And then this angle here, I'll call this theta D, would be arctangent of 3/5. Right, so just punch that in the calculator. So then the angle here between vectors C and D, I'll call this theta CD, would just be, add those two together, right? Now we have everything we need to compute the dot product, right? We got both magnitudes and we got the angle between the two vectors. So just punch in the calculator. My personal preference, I feel like this way was easier, but they're both correct. Okay, so why don't you try for yourself? I'll let you try. Try going like A dot C, or let's say A dot D, or C dot B dot C, or B dot D, right? Because now we're mixing, like you can have one in terms of magnitude and angle, one in terms of components, and then it's totally up to you which way you want to go. Like you want to use this definition or this definition. And just for practice, I would try both, just so you kind of know what you prefer. Okay, thanks for listening. I'll do some more examples in another video. Okay, so see you on the next one.